Just a very, very quick introduction. Um, I attended a webinar last summer on a website called composecreate.com. Are you guys familiar with that website? Yeah. If not, you really owe it to yourself to check out the website. It is, I think it's quite good. Besides hundreds of pieces of music that they have for sale, they have a lot of teacher resources. Many of them are not free, but there are a few things there. I did actually pay a week ago to take a webinar with them on teaching teenagers, which I thought was really, really helpful. So I just wanted to tell you where I had heard about this smart scales idea. So let's see if I can pull this up. There we go. Okay, so smart scales is a concept that was developed by a woman. Her name is Diane Hidy, and Diane is a piano teacher. She is a composer of educational piano music. And like I said, she's affiliated with composecreate.com. Um, this idea for this book came about uh, because she was frustrated by her students' lack of motivation to practice their scales. And furthermore, uh, she she did not enjoy hearing their their scales because she felt like she was in the House of Corrections all the time. No, you missed the sharp there, or you crossed with the wrong finger. And it got to the point where she was like, I don't think I even want to hear them do their scales each week. So she started to ponder, why is it that they're not motivated to play the scale assignment that I give them? And she believes that the reason that the students were not motivated to practice the scales and therefore not gaining any skill was because the scales had no musical context. And so she thought, well, bingo, that's got to do it. And so she went about composing. She took all seven white key major scales. This is how she started. She put each of them in a unit, a separate unit, and she composed melodies that use scale fingerings. She composed 14 melodies for each key. What I like is there's an equal amount for the left hand as there is for the right hand. And let me just show you, let me give you some examples. She puts, like I said, she puts each key in its own unit. She starts each unit in the same way. She takes a very short melody, just 2 measures long, and she notates it 2 different ways. First, she presents it as it would look with an accidental, and then the exact same melody is notated again, but this time within the key signature. And in my teaching, I view this as simply review of what I've already taught. This is not how I first present a scale to a student, but I use this as reinforcement. So this is an example from how she starts G major. And here's a sample of, I just pulled a couple of these at random. Here's an example of uh, a smart scale in G major. of the things I like about this is to give them the musical context that she felt was lacking. She composed accompaniments to go with it. And so that provides the harmonic support. And for rhythmic support, perhaps her most genius idea, I think, was that she wrote every one of these melodies in 6/8 meter. And I think we would all agree that 6/8 does provide the impetus to play forward, to have forward motion. Some people call it flow. And a lot of times when you're playing a scale and it's in 6/8, the crossing over the thumb or the sliding of the thumb under occurs right on the second beat, or perhaps more importantly, when you're going across the bar line from the second beat to the first beat of the next measure. Another thing that she does, I'm going to play the accompaniment for you in a second. I thought it was a very good idea for her to have the scale end in a different place than it begins. That sounds kind of funny, I suppose, but she puts a repeat sign, which forces the student to have to get back in the starting position on time. So I'm going to play for you as best I can. I'll have to do a little fancy footwork. So forgive me for leaving out some notes, but I want you to hear what the scale sounds like with the teacher accompaniment. I'm going to show you an example from another unit, which is D major. Here's a D major smart scale. And with the teacher accompaniment. I really like that one. Here's one from A major. And I won't do the repeats just to save time. And here's another one. This one is for the right hand. She has them all mixed up in the unit. So if you were to go straight through the unit with the student, you play one in right hand, a left hand one, maybe another left hand one, and another right hand one. It's all mixed up. Here's another one. This one's in B major. And that's a good example of one in which the student has to get back to the starting position in time. And I'll do one more. This one is left hand B major. And I'm going to play that one up higher. I think you get the idea. I just wanted to play a few of those. I thought that was important. And then a really cool thing that Diane included at the end of the book, she calls greatest hits. This is a unit that has the scales, the melodies all mixed up. And I think that's important because this way the teacher can be pretty assured that if you go from one to another, for example, that the student really is observing the key signature. Because if you keep the student in the unit of one scale, and I do that, for a couple of weeks, then you can't really be sure that they are not just playing, reading that key signature from habit. So I really like this greatest hits. Um, I found out about this, as I said, in a webinar last summer. It was a free webinar, and I decided I was going to use it first with my adult students. I have adult students in a group down at the music school, and these are pretty much, late elementary group. To be in the class, everybody is pretty much over 60. Most of them are, I think, over 65. I was really surprised at how well the adult students liked this. They loved them. I guess it was the music. I had one woman come up to me after we were doing this for 2 weeks, and she said, "Oh, please, can you give us a recording of the accompaniment?" And I said, "Oh, absolutely. That way, you can be enjoying that at home. And who wouldn't want their student, having that motivation to play the scale fingerings more?" But anyway, I just started to use it with my students who are children. So far, so good. I do think it's a musical way to reinforce scales. I like that if you stay in the unit for a few weeks, I think it does help the students get this kinesthetic feel for each scale. And I also think it does help them develop skill in observing key signatures. There's a wealth of material there. Another thing I have done is I have used, once the student I feel is comfortable in the key and the scale, I have gone back and said, now let's take this one to a different key. And I'm testing, their ability to play in another key, to remember the sharps, and there's no better way, I think we would agree, to test somebody's reading ability than asking them to transpose. Then you can be sure that they are really reading uh, by interval and not by notes. And as I said, you can use this with adults and children. And about a month ago, the news was brought out that Diane had composed now the same idea, but she's developed it for the black keys. All the black key scales are there. And I attended this webinar, and I did get a nice discount. It is pricey, $49.99, but it is a studio license, so you will be using this for the life of your teaching. You can reproduce it as many times as you like. And if you hold up your phone and you scan the QR code, it'll take you directly to the composecreate.com site and directly to the page where they have it for sale. So that's Smart Scales. I hope you'll check it out. I think it's been good for my late elementary students. I have to say, Diane does not address playing scales together. And I wish she would have done that. But what I'm going to do this semester, and my semester at the music school starts on Thursday this week, so we haven't met yet. But I thought I would have my students, once they master, we're going to have to review these, obviously, once they master a scale, a unit, that I thought it would be a good study for them to come up with playing the the same scale, but in the other hand, the hand that's not notated, and that would really test whether they understand the fingering that they're supposed to use for the other hand. So I'll have to let you know how that works out. So there it is, guys.
Thank you so much, Joan. That looks like a great resource, and the fact that you can get it a studio license so that you can just use it with your students and reproduce it, that seems like something really worth checking out. Right now, does she only have the major keys?
Yes, and she, as I said, just a month ago, she came out with the black key major scales.
Excellent. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to make this handout and the QR code available to our members. Although if you want to have access to it now, just hold your phone up to the screen and do a little snap, and that will take you to this. Or I suppose you can go to the website, Compose Create.
Oh, yeah.
Um, well, thank you, Joan. Thank you. You always have such an interesting take on things, and we're just so grateful that you're able to contribute today.